Now, which one of y'all did that?
She know who did it. She know who that was.
Not so bad.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got a real good broadcast lineup. You know what this is? This is Way Out Wednesday. This is Way Out Wednesday. This is the day where all you have to do is give us a call. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. And whatever's on your heart, we will talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. Talk about it in its entirety. We will in its entirety. Absolutely, absolutely. But before we go another step further, I got to take this opportunity right now and say hello to these young ladies right here. These are Christian angels. Christian angels. I call them Charlie's angels.
You didn't forget. You didn't forget.
That's right. That's right. Christian angels. Look here, I called them Charlie's angels yesterday, and they got on me. They said, "No, we Christian angels, but we will, if the time is right or the situation is right, we will step on a toe or two. Step on a toe or two. We like cut some ears off and all kind of stuff." People say cut the ear off. She said they will too. But listen, good morning, Anna. Good morning. How you doing this morning, young lady? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been following these. Well, I'm doing okay. Some personal things going on, but I'm like looking to see what went on in Georgia. It looks like we still don't have numbers, so I'm glad that people did turn out. Unfortunately, you do know where I live, Raheem, and I was very saddened to see that there was no one of color, at least while I was there. While I was, I mean, there must have been total, I would say about 25 people, including myself, and not one person was of color except myself. Come on, you guys. I mean, we were just protesting. I was like, what happened? I mean, we've got to do better than this. So I did a video. Some of you guys might have seen it. Others may have not. I was hoping it got shared to get people to go to those polls. So I'm just waiting to anxiously see what took place in Georgia. So
I know that they say that our two candidates were. I checked it this morning. They say they were leading.
What?
Our two candidates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the two that we had in the studio with us a few times.
Yes, I just checked that this morning, and I was like, I don't see anything. Okay, yay!
Yeah, they were. I don't know if they won yet, but you know they said they were absolutely leading. Both of them were leading very had a pretty good lead. So we just gotta wait and see.
Tears because they're just such good. I mean, they're really good souls. It's not like a show in front of the cameras. They're really genuinely good people. Oh my God, that would make me so happy. When you were saying our two candidates, I'm like, from our side. What are you saying? No, but I understand now. Thank God. And I'm gonna continue praying. Hopefully. Not hopefully. I've claimed it from the beginning. They've won. They've won. They're holding the seat. They're sitting there. They're running things the way they should be ran. Wow. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we at right now. Now, Christy, are you okay?
Hi.
Oh Lord, she went from to the Hollywood. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Morning Glow family.
Krista said
I'm not in the 318 though, but I'm still good.
Yeah,
you look tired.
Girl, I don't look tired. Quit saying I look beautiful. Come on now.
Yes, you do. You look gorgeous. You got a lot of sleep.
I did. It's only 4:00 in the morning where I'm at.
That's all. Only 4 o'clock.
It.
But listen,
only 4. I went to bed at 2:00.
How's California treating you?
It's great. They have more restrictions because of the COVID-19. So But I mean, I've been having a great time spending time with my kids, spending time with, going to outside. I face painted all the kids' faces yesterday. That was because I do face paint. And so it was really fun. So we was outside face painting. The weather here is beautiful.
Yes.
We're like, you see the mountains is right. I mean, it's right in clear view, the mountains and the windmills. So I am enjoying it. It's like, it's really beautiful out here. And I love it. It's like, I'm like, oh, do I really want to go back? Like,
I'm gonna tell you something. I love California. I really do.
It's
And
beautiful.
if my wife would say, yeah, baby, we can do it, I moved to California yesterday.
I have some moving opportunities. Look, I have some moving opportunities. Like, you know, I could go to Seattle, Washington, or I can move to Atlanta, or I can move here to California. So I'm just really being prayerful and letting God order my steps, because I don't want to move outside of Him. My wants and my desires can sometimes outweigh the desires of what God has for my life. So I'm really just seeking His face, and there's a lot going on, especially with New Order. We have a lot of people calling in, doing a lot of letters. So I'm busy, y'all. I'm not gonna be busy at my physical job, but y'all got me working hard.
There you go. And I'm gonna tell you something. I think the path is leading you toward this Atlanta side, toward the Atlanta side. I believe it's leading you toward the Atlanta side. That's what I think. I think it's leading you toward the Atlanta side. But that's just me talking. Let me ask y'all something. We spoke earlier about the and y'all know this is Way Out Wednesday, so y'all definitely give us a call, whatever's in your heart. We'll talk about it, and again talk about innocent thirty. But right now, let me do this. I got two or three different things I want to talk about this morning. One thing I'm gonna talk about is this right here. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit, y'all. We're gonna lighten it up just a little bit.
You said that for the past 3 days.
Yeah. What is it? What are the limitations? What are the limitations?
That was
Hold
quick.
on. We might not be able to do it. We got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, everybody. It's Andrea.
Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Good morning.
Andrea, let me ask you a question. Would you like me to send you the link so you could come into the video room?
Absolutely.
Huh?
I said absolutely. I would like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find you. Andrea, give me your last name one more time.
Braxton.
Braxton. I'm going to send it to you right now. So hold on for a second. All right. We're gonna put you on the video side with us. We're gonna let you hang out with us a little bit. You don't mind hanging out with us, do you?
While you guys are getting her ready to come in.
Yeah, you gotta put your wig on, sister. You gotta put your wig on now. Put your wig on. Go ahead.
Don't tell on yourself.
Go ahead and put your wig on.
And a shirt.
While you guys are getting her ready, I want you guys to know that some new information has came about with her case. I had to shuffle some things on lunchtime with Anna. So Andrea Braxton will be interviewed today. Please don't miss the show. It has to do with a lot of very important things going on, and she needs help. You know, so I don't want to go into detail because the show will be at 12, but you know, that's not what we're talking about. But while we're getting her on, I just remembered that.
Okay.
That was like an 11 o'clock thing. I was like, I'm going to shuffle some things around. So.
Okay. Well, we just sent you the link. All you do is follow that link. It'll bring you right into the room here, and you'll be able to hang out with them. Boy, I don't know if I should have did that, man. I already got 2 women that get on my nerves. Lord, then I'm going to have 3. Lord, my Jesus.
And wait a minute, you trying to get me to come to Atlanta? What?
I don't know if we need you.
Let me tell you one thing. He's around it all with women all over his life at home. He doesn't get he blocks us.
Lord, wait, no, I ain't fooling with y'all. We waiting on Andrew to get in here. Should be in just a second. But let me ask y'all this question right here. And Chris, I'm gonna come to you first with this question, because when I ask the question, Anna gonna get a look on her face, and it gonna take her a second. It's gonna take her a second to get herself back in line. It's gonna take her a second. But what are the limitations that a crackhead have? What won't a crackhead sell?
You're joking, right?
No.
Wait a minute. Say, you say what limitations do they have?
What limitation do a crackhead have? A
They
crackhead is
don't.
Okay, so I'm gonna educate you. Okay, so
come on.
crackhead is an offensive term to those that are on that drug. So they're not crackheads. That was actually a term derived by the racist white supremacists crackheads to downgrade those people that have an addiction to crack cocaine.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you, there are some functional drug addicts that are very functional. They have
Mm-hmm.
their habits, but they work. They take care of their children. It's not just like what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Our media has made it seem as though that if you're on crack cocaine, that you are out here selling your body and you're out here selling your kid's body. You're out here strung out, and that may be the case in some instances. But I do know of several people back home who are what we call functional crack addicts, and that's what I would prefer. We use crack addicts or crack cocaine addicts instead of crackheads.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But they go to work, they
mm-hmm.
take care, they have a house, they have cars. I mean, it's just like they're on. That's just something that they're on. Their limitations is their addiction.
Mm-hmm.
The addiction does have limitations for their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say that that's their limitation. It stops them from being productive, having a clear mind to be able to be productive citizens. And not all, and like I say, you can't lump all crack addictions in one lump. That's like saying all black people steal.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that. That's like, I feel like that's another form of stereotype. But that drug is very powerful, and it's people that have that addiction, just like with crystal meth. Now, crystal meth is more addictive than crack cocaine and
Mm-hmm.
have more limitations than crack cocaine. Meth does. So I know people on meth that lose their mind, lose their teeth, lose their everything. So I think that addiction in all, we could talk about alcohol addiction. You have those that have alcohol addiction that go to work Monday through Fridays and at night get sloppy, toe up drunk, beat their kids, beat their wives, and you never know the difference unless someone come out and says something. So there's all forms of addiction, and addiction in itself is a limitation.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Did I
yeah,
answer your question?
you did, but I mean, you're just so nice. You're just so nice with it. You're just so nice with it and so kind. But and you call it, what you call them, a crack addicted or addicted. I call them,
Crack cocaine addiction.
Okay.
Crack
So,
cocaine addiction or drug addiction. I mean, but you gotta realize, like I said, crystal meth addiction is way more addictive and does more damage than crack cocaine does.
yeah,
We don't call them call them meth heads, but I'm just saying.
what my thing, I'm gonna tell you something. My thing is right here. Now, I've seen some crackheads out there. I've seen some crackheads out there that
Right here,
Andrew, I'm gonna hang up the other line, Andrew.
Please.
Okay. Now there we go. Now go ahead. Andrew, you about to say something to me.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that a person that's on drugs or alcohol like that, they are sick. They are sick. And that's a disease.
Mhm.
And a lot of times we give it a bad stigma. It is a bad stigma because we know they're capable of doing a lot of things, but it's a disease. And
Mhm.
everybody that's strung out on a disease does not necessarily mean they want it to be.
Mhm.
Sometimes people
right.
just can't cope, and that's their coping mechanism. So
Mhm.
it's a root to every tree. So when you find the root, you can find the cure.
Mhm.
Exactly, Andrea.
That sister said it's a root to every tree. There's a root to every tree. That's good. Y'all just so educated, boy. Y'all just so educated. There's a root to every tree. God almighty. But I've seen some people that's addicted to certain things do some outlandish stuff. I seen them do some outlandish. I seen them out there trying to sell a couch with holes in it. I see my trying to sell a couch with holes in it. The couch ain't no good. They might have got the couch from the dump, and they out there trying to sell it to somebody. I'm like, man, what? No, no, no. I don't want that. What? Man, listen. And like I say, you know, you're honestly speaking, you feel for them because I honestly think it's a spirit that has infiltrated their life. I think it's the spirit, and when that spirit get into them, man, you know, you just can't come back and fight that spirit off, and it overtakes. We got some stuff going on in the background right there. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, and I think the spirit overtakes. Anna, what do you say to that? I really think it's a spirit.
So I agree with you 2000%. And the reason why I'm laughing, you know, if you guys know my background, I talk about domestic abuse. So I dated somebody who actually, I guess, did that, and things started disappearing. I mean, when I tell you things started disappearing, it started out with jewelry, it started out with this, with that. I mean, it got to the point where I'm like, where's the new pack of socks? I mean, you know, Lord. And like I said,
good Lord.
I don't laugh because I'm laughing at the addiction, because I also have family members, and I really think it's a mental issue. But above that mental issue, you're fighting a spiritual war. I truly believe that. However, when you're sitting here, and I mean, even a pack of socks, seriously, the child's diapers, seriously, child's diapers, like, no, I can't. Good morning, Leonard. I missed my buddy.
Good morning.
Hey, Leonard.
Good morning.
I can't even understand or begin to comprehend, and that's why I was laughing, because look. After me and him broke up, like, there was no limitation. Like, I would hear out on the street, I'm like, really? Really, like, no limitation to things. And, you know, where I'm from, it's really small. Everybody talks, so everybody know everybody's business. And it's like, yo, like, you have no self-respect. Like, and Christy's right. I've met other people who have an addiction. They go to work, they have their nice car, a BMW, Lexus, don't lose anything in their house. But those are people who have self-control. I don't think they're fighting such a big monster like my ex. I mean, that was, I mean, I'm talking about a pack of socks. I mean, really, the baby's diapers, wipes. I mean, like, how much, I don't know, because I was never the dope man, okay? I know that might sound silly, but I don't know how much you can give for that. But seriously, what are you thinking? And then that's your child stuff. And then all my jewelry. That's why to this day, I don't like wearing jewelry. Like, it is just whatever, you know, it's disgusting. So anyway, that's how I started laughing when you were talking about the holes in the couch and everything. Cause it's like stuff like that would just end up missing. And I'm like, yo, what's up? I mean, like, pots and pans. I mean, seriously, you will go to no limitation on your addiction. And it wasn't even stuff you worked and paid for, because it was me, because you couldn't hold anything because you were doing things so wrong. And then the drug had you being bipolar. So, you know, I know you didn't expect that reaction. I know you expected a face. But because I've been there, done that at a very young age, and I recommend young ladies do not put up with domestic violence. Do not deal with a man like that, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And women, I recommend the same thing with the opposite sex.
Absolutely.
Please
Absolutely.
be sure, yes, to take care. But yeah, that's why I don't understand. So please, if you're have an addiction like that, call in, because I'd like to understand why you would sell wipes, baby wipes, or baby's diapers.
Hold on.
381-197.
And you want to roll this morning? So I'm trying to jump in there, and Anna just keep going. I jump in there one time. Anna just keep going. I jump in there, and
it's the hair. It's the hair.
It's the hair. It have to be the hair. But good morning, Leonard. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. These two always make you smile when you see them.
Exactly.
Because they always, I mean, even when Anna has her little bad days or whatever, she still gives you the energy a lot. And when I see that new wig, I say, Anna does something every day. Every day, really, with the hair. She don't mind changing her appearance and everything, you know, and it's cool. You know, you got some people you see in the same thing all the time. That's why I love. I'm just a big fan of natural. Always have been. And
you gotta glam it up, boy. Glam it up.
It's amazing what women go through, man. They do a lot of extra stuff.
You're right, Leonard, and I appreciate you appreciating our naturalness. You know, you are awesome.
Okay, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. We done jumped off track a little bit. I need to ask you the question, Leonard. What limitations do a crackhead have? What won't a crackhead? And Krista don't like me using that term. I apologize. I think she used a fancy term. I can't remember what she said. She used a fancy term this morning. I can't remember.
I said crack cocaine addictive or addiction.
Yeah, that person right there. That person right there. But what limitation do they have? No, what won't they sell?
I mean, I don't think they don't have no limitations. Because everything is a possibility. So, you know, a lot of my people in my family been on drugs and things of that nature. And, you know, they'll take anything. They'll take things that you don't think about. Like, I had an uncle. For some reason, they stole the towels. Or I caught him taking my, you know, I'm from Michigan. So I caught him taking my bottles and cans that I would stack up behind the house. Because, you know, those are worth money.
Yeah. People sell those. Yeah,
they sell those. But I mean, even then, you know, you have to realize they'll anybody that'll buy it. It's never to them. This ain't make no sense. No, it was like, I'm gonna see what I can get because they're just that desperate. And that's what you know. Once you get desperate, they'll try anything. If they can just get $2, I mean, it don't even matter. You know, you can almost talk them out of anything, especially if they're closer to getting the fix. You know what I'm saying? So you learn how to deal with them that way. But my parents I never seen my parents wear wedding rings because he stole the rings one day when my parents stayed with my grandparents. So, you know, and like guns have come up missing. And all these types of things, and that's when you know you can't let people roam. You know,
exactly.
That's why it's so funny. You know, when black folks say somebody coming by, you're like, okay, hide your stuff. You just don't leave your purse sitting around when there's one person coming over. You know what I'm saying?
Will you assign somebody?
You know what I'm saying? And you gotta sit them somewhere, and you gotta keep your eye on them. You know, because if that joker get up and go somewhere. They surveying, you know what I'm saying? They trying to see what they can put their hands on to get some money. So they don't have no limits. They just know what they want.
What you have to do a lot of time, you have to assign somebody to you be that trailer. You be the trailer. You stay with them. They don't care where they go. They go to the bathroom. You go them in the bathroom. You ain't got to go in everywhere they doing the business, but you go in the bathroom with them. The only thing they gonna steal is the toilet paper. That's all they gonna have to be able to steal, the toilet paper. Can't get nothing else. I'm trying to get Andrea. They come on the camera because Andrea, she's all over the place, man. We done seen all kind of stuff going on in the background, and I'm trying to Andrea. Yes.
Oh, they stealing.
You know they'll steal they'll steal the paper toilet as well if you let them. I know.
It's one of a kind paper right here, man. You ain't never seen no paper like this here. You ain't never seen no paper like this here. I'm gonna sell it to you. $10 a roll. $10 a roll. Andrea.
My mic is muted. No, you muted my mic.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you. Sorry about that. Y'all saw me at the store. I was getting my husband coffee. I bring him coffee every morning before he goes to work.
So sweet.
So
Okay.
I want him to have a good day, and I don't want him to feel rushed and have to make extra stops. So I do apologize for that.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead. What's on your heart, though? We got a couple of calls on the phone. I'm gonna go to the phone line as well. What's on your heart, sister?
Okay, so when you think about a person and why they be selling stuff, I think it's because they have their own system and they have their own community, and they do a lot of barter and trading, believe it or not, amongst each other. And that's how they ultimately survive. And I have a spirit where I have talked to some people that has been strung out on drugs like that, and they said that their body hurts when they don't have it. It hurts. It makes them physically sick when they don't have it. So that's why I believe they go to the extra measures to have this stuff. But it is a community. They are a community, believe it or not. They are a real community.
Yes, they are.
And they take care of each other.
Yep. And that's why they take little stuff that you wouldn't think of. Because people who live on the streets, they take little stuff that you take for granted.
Yeah.
Like they'll take, like when I told you about the towels and things like that. You know, and like she said, they have a community. They may know another street person that needs this, that, or the other that's willing to trade with them. You know?
I got this. Would y'all like to buy this screw? I got this screw. Would y'all like to buy this?
No. No.
But I come from Leonard's yard.
Exactly. But see, the thing about it, we make fun, but it's, honestly speaking, it's a very serious issue, man. Because a lot of people, and a lot of people have people in their family. I have people in my family that was addicted to on crack cocaine. I've had these people, and I've lost a few of my family members due to their addiction to the crack cocaine. So it's a very serious topic. It really is. Let's go to the phone lines. We have Donald. Donald, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, Donald.
Good morning. Good
Tucson.
morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tucson.
Donald, what want a crack addicted individual? We say crackhead, but what won't they sell?
How about this? 11 o'clock at night, you figure out with a screen door.
Lord, my Jesus. Trying to sell a screen door at 11 o'clock at night.
That's a screen door. This is actually true. A screen door. I bought I did here, $15 bulb his color. If somebody's, the thing that kills the mosquitoes and the things at night. Oh, they sell anything. And when you say, you know what? Whatever story they tell you, they believe that.
Yeah.
You may say, man, that don't even make no sense.
Yeah, do. You ain't looking at it right. You ain't looking at it right.
But it's something that everybody's family is affected by.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a friend that his sister was a school teacher. His brother was a professional football player. His other brother was going to the pros, and his other sister was a majorette in high school, and their mom had to lock the TV and everything in her room because they would come and take whatever they could put their hands from their mom.
Wow.
And so, I've done a lot of things, but my attitude was anything that causes me to want to steal from my mama, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Exactly. We have
a serious addiction.
It is. And like I said, it's a very serious situation. We can make light of it, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we also understand and realize that it's serious. It's serious, man. And like you said, Donald,
I was listening at you.
And like I said, man, a lot of family members, a lot of families have people that this has infiltrated into their lifestyles, and it's very disruptive. And I said earlier, I really think it's a spirit. I really do. But that's just me talking. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Frank. I'm calling from Michigan.
Frank, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
What's going on, Mr. Frank?
Let me ask you this question.
Hey. Hey, what's happening?
What won't a crack addicted person, or we know him as crackhead. You know, I try to deal with it from both angles because Christian want me to be so politically correct this morning. But what won't a crackhead sell?
You know, I'm glad that as much as we, will laugh, and we will get to the point where we see that the tragedy in this, because people that are struggling with drug addiction will literally sell their own children.
Wow.
And do it, on a regular basis. That either will sell them for good and just walk away, or just tell people, you can keep my child for a while. And the one thing that we know about ourselves is that we love ourselves. Raheem loves him some Raheem. At the end of the day, Frank loves Frank. You better. If you don't love yourself, I struggle with you loving me, because self-preservation. But they'll sell themselves. And one of the saddest things that I saw when I had my transportation business, and we were taking seniors to dialysis, and some of them had to be there at 4:00 in the morning, is that we would ride through different areas where there was a lot of prostitution. And a woman would approach you and would basically in the middle of the night would flash her body, but she would turn her head away. The spirit would make her, and the drug is pushing her to go get that money. But even at that point that she was doing it, she was so ashamed that she would turn her face away from you. And it's unfortunate, man. And it's especially now, I think it's worse now than it was back in the day when people were hooked on drugs, because they put things in drugs chemically that makes the person more dependent on it and makes it harder for you to get off of it.
Leonard, what do you say to that, man? The additions that they put into these drugs that makes it where it locks and latches on to you, where you almost just can't let it go. What do you say to that, Leonard? Is that a reality?
Well, I'm really not sure what you were talking about, but drug addicted individuals, just like Frank said, they have their own thing. They're caught into a need for a drug. You have your people who have like a physical addiction or what have you, but you don't get addicted to drugs the first time. And a lot of people will be looking to escape. And so once that drug gets in them, if it makes them feel good, then yes, you're going to do it every day as much as you can, because you're addicted to the feeling. Some people don't feel normal unless they have that drug. They don't feel like they're giving you their best self without that drug. And so you have to look at it from that point of view. And, cold turkey is definitely a way to kick the drug addiction. Also, but a person's mind has to be made up. Because you can't, all my family members and things like that were in the street, it never was an issue with them. We didn't even think about rehab like that, It was these were just the folks that gonna live on the street. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. They're gonna be in and out of jail, and it because that's who they are. And it's better you develop a relationship with them, accepting the fact that they have a problem, and deal with them accordingly. Because they it's not that they can't help themselves. They just don't have a reason to.
Wow. Christy, from your education of this topic, what's on your heart right now?
I want to say something really, and it's really burning my heart. I want people to understand, not all people willingly get on drugs. You have to know that there are people out there that lace, if you're a weed smoker, they'll lace it with heroin to get you hooked so you can buy more things. If you out there and you're a young lady and you have a drink, they'll put something in your drink. if you're not careful, you can go to the store and buy a drink and it has a little hole with some drugs stuck up in it. You know, it's people that do some dirty things to people. Not everybody that is on drugs was willingly put on drugs or did it just because they wanted to be on drugs. We have to talk about the seriousness. I mean, if you remember, it's a show I had my kids watch. And this was like, it was like back in the early 80s, the show was. And it was this young girl that was living in a suburb and they had the drug dealer there as well. So this little girl was about to go to Spelman. She was a very young girl. She was just graduating high school. Well, she went to a party and her little boyfriend that she was with was laying up with her, say, hey, let's smoke this weed. But he had laced it with crack. And when she smoked it that one time. And the show deals with that one time she smoked it. She got so high and she sought that high. She went to him and said, well, this is a new high. So then she went on a binge. Her and this other girl went on a binge of just smoking crack and spent all her school money, was breaking into her dad's house and doing all different things to show. And so what I did to teach my children is, listen, one mistake like that can cost you your whole future.
Mm-hmm.
Just one mistake, just listening to somebody saying, hey, try this. And if we look at the different shows, if we look at Meet the Browns, the TV show, CJ's wife got hooked on crack. If we can go to the different shows that shows us this reality, what happened. It's sad, and it's a real thing that happens. And like I say, this is serious. People that are addicted or have addiction, and it's not just drug addiction. You have sex addiction. You have a lot of addictions that take complete control of your life, and where you cannot function as a so-called normal, if there's a such word as normal human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel as though that, you know, we gotta bring light to that. Those women that were getting beaten and forced to do drugs, or drugs that was put in food, and now they're addicted to those drugs because the drug dealer want to make money. You got women in the sex trade that were forced to be in the sex trade, and they're drugged up, and once they get out, they have this addiction and they have to try to work through it. So this is way bigger than just somebody just saying, okay, I just want to try some drugs. Because we have all these issues surrounding that addiction. So it's way bigger than just, hey, you know, I'm just going to get high. You know, it's a lot to it. And we can talk about the pharmaceuticals. You have white America who's going into their cabinets getting high for the prescription medicine. That's an addiction. You have people that go for surgery. Look at Michael Jackson. He was hooked on the medicine that caused him for his surgeries and stuff. So it's more to addiction than just crack and cocaine, or, you know, there's a lot of addiction that we don't even, where we're not even scratching the surface on, and forced addiction. And that's why we have to tell all, and I'm going to say this too. Please call in 1-678-381-1973. If you have any type of addiction, if you're in a sex trade and can get to a phone or whatever, please call the show so we can get you some help. Our main goal is to help you become a better you. That don't mean what you in does not have to be, what you in right now doesn't have to be your ending. It could be a new journey for you. If you need help and you need somewhere you can't find no help, get somewhere and call 678-381-1973. We have people here that will be willing to get you into some kind of help.
Absolutely. Andrea, what's on your heart, sister? Unmute your line for me. Unmute your line there, Andrea.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. What's on your heart, sister?
I just want to just come in off what the sister said. That is so true. There's so many addictions. Some people just can't deal with it. And that's just the bottom line. They don't know what to do. This is their comfort. And could it be because of what we have shown them by judging them about how they come to us for help or they come up to us for money? Do we use that as a ministerial moment, or do we use that as the world would do and push them away because they do have a substance abuse or an addiction? Do we use that moment for prayer or healing? Do we do that? Because I come in contact with a lot of people. A lot of times you can tell that's on something, and I am sometimes afraid of them. I'm not gonna lie. But should I not just go ahead and just minister to them anyway? So there's a lot of factors at play, but they're sick and they need our help. They need us, and we need to be the ones to help them. We have to help them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's good, and I love your heart on that. But I was always told in order to help somebody, they gotta want to be helped. They have to want to be helped, and I like I said, I have family members, man, that went through this whole situation, went through the whole ordeal, actually cost them their life because they would not turn away from it. You want to help them, you try to help them, but at the same time, if they don't want the help, or don't feel as though they need the help, and if that drug have that powerful of a stronghold on them, then it's almost I'm not gonna say impossible, but it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, what's on your heart?
Boy, you flowing in the spirit this morning. Let me make a statement. Nothing's bigger than God.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And the word of God says, by faith. Everything happens by faith. And the thing about it is that you may have someone that you approach that needs your help, and you begin to minister to them and they cuss you out.
Yeah.
I don't need your help. I don't want your help. But that's not the end. That's not the only tool we have in our tool belt. It's to be right in front of somebody. That's where interceding comes in. That's where your relationship, that's where you go home and you shut in and you begin to pray for that person, and you begin to confess things and put things in the spirit. And let me tell you something, man. When I was a young thug on the streets of Detroit, man, lost. When I tell you lost, I want you to think of the furthest place that you can go to Atlanta that you've never been is dark, and you're truly lost. That's how lost I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a grandmother, man, that would constantly speak things into my life. Tell me who I was, not what I was going through or what I was doing at the time. And it would pray for me. And one day I found myself where I just said, man, I got to do better than this. I got to do something different than this. And I truly contribute that to my grandmother's prayers being answered.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't constantly in front of me trying to say, boy, you better do this. No. Every time she saw me, she put her hands on me and she said, baby, you're going to be all right. Because this is who you are. This is who God told you were.
Come on.
And sometimes we just have to believe. When people are so lost, we have to believe for them because they're not strong enough to believe for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
One of those things like about addiction, and I'm very matter of fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order, I just didn't buy. I'm not raised to be as sympathetic towards the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, and it's great that people can get help, but a lot of folks that I was around were functional individuals. We did not give them any more courtesy than anybody else. I don't care if you're on drugs, you still got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be on drugs, but that's just gonna make it a lot harder. So, I was really into the addiction thing to the point that I wanted to try it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know you don't get addicted the first time. You probably don't get addicted the second time.
Well, Leonard, I would have to say I had to differ with you a little bit on that.
I was a recreational drug user.
Okay, well, yeah, and for you, maybe that's the case.
Right.
But I've seen some individuals they do it that first time, man, and you look in their eyes, man, and you see that they're gone, man. and the rest of their life, the rest of their days until they get help, they're chasing that first high that they get. I've seen people,
and that's the thing about it. I've never seen it where it was that way.
Yeah, I've seen where they are supposed to get that first hit, man, and you look in their eyes and you see it, like man, what is going on, man, and that person just wither away, and you can see this. I've seen people, man, and I've been in some rough situations, y'all, but I've seen people on the floor, on their hands and knees, trying to go through the carpet because they thought they dropped a piece of that rock that they were smoking. And they're like an animal, man, on the floor. Man, I was like, wow, man, what they doing? What are they doing? And then actually my aunt, she's gone home to glory. She was addicted because she was doing the drugs with him. And then she was laughing, talking about he think he dropped something. He think he dropped something. I said, what do you think he dropped? And then I looked at what they was doing. I said, man, get up off that floor, bro. Man, get up off that floor. Get up, man. What are you doing? Get up off the floor. A grown man, man. A grown man on his hands and knees thinking he dropped something. I mean, this thing is real, man. Like I said, I lost truth of the matter, I lost two of my aunts, man, on my mom's side that was addicted to crack. I've seen them go through some things, man. I had at one point, I was a little fella at one point, man. One of my aunts had some people in the house. They was in one part of the house. I was in another other part of the house, and then all of a sudden I heard a lot of ruckus. Like, what is ruckus? I'm country when I say ruckus. I heard a lot of ruckus, and I came out my room. I said, what's going on? And people was running out the door, and then this lady did one of her friends came to me. She said, we need to do something and help your aunt. I think she's overdosed. We had to run a cold a tub of water and put her I had to undress my aunt and put my aunt in a tub of water, man, to bring her back. This thing is serious, bro. This ain't no play thing, man. This thing is real serious. And like I said, I think it's a spirit. And if you can't control it, man, it's going to consume you. It's going to consume you. Donald, what's on your heart?
Yeah. And that's the main thing. Mm-hmm. If you don't control it, it'll control you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Christy was talking about there are some people that you would never think that they are on crack or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't let it control them.
Mm-hmm.
They go to work every day. They pay the bills. Their appearance, and they hold professional positions. I knew one that was talking about crack. He was on crack. They were overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when it overwhelmed him, the only thing that caused him to stop is that his wife wasn't leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like that, just like it overwhelmed him.
Yeah.
When his wife told him, "Look, it's either it or me," we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's grateful to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But most people, they do it. They say, "Well, I'll try it one time."
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes, Donald, that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. That one time.
That's why the first try is free with the dealer. They give you a free hit, and you'll be a customer for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And see, and the guy on the street that's selling it, man, he don't care nothing about all that, man. He just knows that that's a customer. That's a customer. That's a good customer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know what the deal is with crystal meth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a demon. That's a demon from hell for real.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a man-made drug. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. Doesn't it have battery acid in it?
I don't know what that thing got in it, man.
They changed the ingredients. They changed the ingredients. I'm sorry. They changed it.
Go ahead. Chris, go ahead.
That's how they changed the ingredients every month. Like and I was working in ER in Houston, and so we know like in the first of the month there's a fresh batch that comes out. You don't even know what's in it. It changes. So when they come in on a trip, I'm telling you, it's something to see. We had one guy who rolled in a dirt, and the dirt had manure in it, and so I had to undress this young man and put him in a gown to stop him from hurting himself. And I'm telling y'all, I don't understand. I had one guy that was I didn't know he was on crystal meth. He had came to the house to do some yard work. He was on the ground rolling around doing all kinds of stuff. Started having seizures and all kinds of stuff. We sent him to the ER. He was on crystal meth, and it changes.
Mm-hmm.
The ingredients change so that you can't really just get an antidote for it, and it's not even that. And what's the fake marijuana?
Mm-hmm.
What's the fake marijuana name? Mojo. That and Mojo are the two worst. Crystal meth and Mojo are the two worst drugs there is for me, because I haven't seen the effects it has on people in the ER.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And see, I'm glad that you're here, because you could talk firsthand about what the other side is like, and what they go through. Crystal, you frozen, right?
No.
Yeah, your sister, you frozen. You sitting there, you locked and loaded. Yeah. Okay, there you go. She'll come right back in. Good morning, Curtis. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, family. What's going
on?
How y'all doing? L Dog, what's going on? You holding it right?
Is that better?
What we're talking about this morning, Curtis, we're talking about what won't a crackhead sell? What won't a crackhead sell?
In Baltimore, crystal meth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A person, let's just say a person that has an addiction. What won't they sell?
In Baltimore, crystal meth. That ain't
Mm-hmm.
You leave that out there with them folk that made that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Working in the field that I work in, because I deal with a lot of them after they leave from Christie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna speak honestly and truly. Some of the smartest people that I have ever met in my life were addicts. To be honest, let me correct that. The smartest people I have ever met in my life were addicts. Now, not only were they smart intellectually, but guess what? They are the smartest people socially in the United States of America. There is a unique thing that happens. As crazy as this may sound, that's why I'm a strong and fervent believer that wherever there is tragedy, as long as God is there somewhere, triumph will happen. I have literally watched the whole racism issue completely go poof in terms of addiction. Because if it's one thing they can all agree on is, hey, we all got a problem. The thing that addiction is a sickness. What's going on is people become addicted to the euphoric feeling, the endorphins that the brain releases when they take in a controlled substance that releases more endorphins. So we all kind of addicted to something. It could be anything: TV, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs,
sugar.
Sugar is one of the most addictive things on the planet. However, the real addictive drug is actually tobacco. More people die from tobacco every
Morning Glow
than anybody ODing. So, but I mean, a person that is a cocaine addict or a heroin addict, they will tend to sell anything.
Good deal. Yeah, and that's one of the things I still say, and I stand on the fact I think it's I think it's a spirit. I think it's a spirit. Anna, what's on your heart? Donna, coming to you next.
So I've been listening to all of your comments. I absolutely agree with you, Raheem, 2,000%. I believe that that's why God puts intercessors in place. Not all of us have the gift to be able to intercess and pray for somebody in the middle of the night. I do have family who, unfortunately, this addiction who was put out, we'll just say in the poorer sectors of town of the nation to, cause problems, which are now dealing with major, a lot of the mass incarcerations over this, drug. When you have more of the opioid or whatever, and it's a whole different thing, and they just get slap on the hand, rehabilitation. But I will say something. I take daily seizure medication. I have to take it twice a day. Obviously, I have to take it because if not, I'll have a seizure, whatever. And I do have them in between. So if I didn't have to take the medication, I would be just fine without taking my medication. Does that make sense? I would not, it's not anything like my body's like, oh my gosh, Anna, if you don't have this, so I think it's more, you're dealing with the spiritual warfare, the good and the bad. Now, the question is, which way are you going to go? Because I believe in the power of the Lord. And I believe that if somebody really goes in there and intensely says, God, take this away from me, cleanse me out, because I have family members who have a testimony like that. And God has came right in there and cleansed them out. But, then you also have, how can you take away an addiction, which would be something like, as Christy would say, a crack cocaine addiction or a heroin addiction, and replace it with methadone? You're still giving them drugs. You didn't cleanse out anything. They're still doing it. I know people who have been taking methadone for 20 years. How are you clean? Same thing, so it's something that you've got to, I don't tell anybody what to do or not do, but that's why God places people that are intercessors there to pray at those times that maybe have gotten up in the middle of the night that you had no clue, that maybe walked right by you. Not everybody has that gift, and that's why he gives those people those gifts to be able to pray for you. And maybe it was that grandma, maybe it was that aunt that prayed for you. I've seen grandmothers that were able to see family members get healed before they went to a better life. What better gift could God have given that grandmother? You know what I'm saying? So it's just something, I don't know. We got to think to ourselves, is it something that I see myself doing? Because I heard Leonard say something I would have never in a million years thought. I mean, Leonard, I really saw you like maybe having a beer and that's it. Maybe smoking a joint back in the day, okay? Before you gave your life to the Lord. We'll just say that. To see that and to hear that and to know that, okay, but I think in when it comes to you, you're more strong-willed, and I think some people are not. I think that at that second, that demon is so strong, it takes over their body. It's over. They'll do. Trust me, I've lived with it, and then I lived with the bipolar and other mental issues that those drugs bring, and it is no joke. It is no joke. So I'm just saying that. I think that that's why God places those intercessors, because not all of us can just lay our hands on somebody and just start praying or pray over them at night or whenever it may be, or that, once we get in the car. God doesn't give us all that gift. So that you don't know what you're dealing with or how strong of a demon you're dealing with,
Good deal. Good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Donna, what's on your heart? Frank, coming to you next.
So this route, if we can take it to look, there's no scripture that says if a brother is overtaken in a fault, which a spiritual restore such a one, consider yourself, least you all so be tempted. If you're not spiritual minded, you better leave them folks alone.
That's right.
They're gonna hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either hurt your feelings or hurt you, or you gonna mess them up more than they already messed up.
Yeah. It's all about assignments, brother. If that's not your assignment.
Yeah, I mean, No, you better not go to the crack house.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about I'm gonna go rescue my girlfriend. You're gonna be strung out too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some go out there trying to be a missionary and go wind up at the crack house. And they on crack.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You got to be covered, brother. You got to be covered. Frank, what's on your heart, brother?
My sisters and my brothers, to God be the glory. There is a huge difference from people that are called to do street ministry than your brother and sister in Christ intercede. First, anything that we do, we should have, we should be in a place where we are in tune with what it is that God is calling us to do. But let me challenge everybody and take this into prayer in your own time. I believe that God has called all of us that has the Spirit of God in us to intercede for our brothers and sisters, for this world.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to put you in any danger. For you just to, in your quiet time in prayer, if you know somebody is going through something, to remember them.
Mm-hmm.
To remember them in your prayers.
See,
God tells us once we.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah. Once you eat of my goodness, remember me.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? It means, it literally means to honor him, to do his will. Once you've eaten of the mercy of God, remember him. And how better to remember them than to feed his sheep. And if I hear of somebody that say it's somebody that is struggling with drugs and they are going into the crack house, man, it does not put me in danger that in my prayer time to not only pray for them but to curse that building, to curse that drug.
Now,
to
Frank,
come against those things.
That's where, like I said, I agree with you what you were saying about in the prayer part, but I don't know if I agree with somebody, unless you're covered or called or sent going into that crack house. I don't agree with that.
No, I said that, Raheem, at the beginning.
Okay.
I said that all of us are not called to do street ministry. All of us are not called.
Okay. I just didn't want people.
No, at the very beginning. At the very beginning, I said that. I said there's 100% difference between people that are called to do street ministry and then interceding for someone in the privacy of your home and the safety of your home.
Yeah. Okay. I can go with that. Christy, what's on your heart?
I totally agree. Everybody is not for street ministry, but that doesn't mean that you can't pray. For example, we had a young lady, she was strung out and she came we in the summertime or in the warm times, we leave our church door open with the speakers blaring and allowing the word of God to hit the street. So she came, and it was one Wednesday night, she came up in the church. And when she came in there, we didn't look at her funny. We didn't make fun of her. We didn't tell her to get out, you crack addicted person. But what we did do is we grabbed her in love. I actually hugged her and began to pray for her, that God would just surround himself around her and, that her mind would come back. I mean, we actually went to intercessory prayer for her and we continue to pray for her. That doesn't mean that she stopped doing crack right then that day. But what that meant is that we started praying for her. So I'm for prayer and I'm for intercessory prayer. Like I said, I do prison ministry because that's a ministry in itself. And you do have to be a special person to be able to handle the type of things that you see and hear. People are hurting and have been hurt by drug addiction. Not only the person that's on drugs, but the people that's surrounding them. And and just a little bit of my testimony is, I've been on drugs before. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been on, but I was never addicted. I don't have an addictive personality. So I smoked cigarettes before and was able just to drop them like a bad habit because I don't have addiction personality. But that doesn't mean everyone is not like that. Mr. Leonard doesn't have an addiction personality. Like he can choose in his mind to do it or not do it. So but some people out there who try it become so addicted because they have that addictive, with cigarettes. You have one person try one time at 16, they smoking cigarettes for 40 years.
Yep.
Unfortunately for me, I smoked cigarettes for, I think it was like for maybe a year, and I was like, I'm tired of this, and I just threw them away and didn't have a problem, didn't have no nicotine withdrawals or nothing. So, and the same thing with my drug of choice. So I'm just here to tell people that, God is able to do all things but fail.
Absolutely.
But don't think that when you give your life to Christ, that is going to just fall off. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some prayer. It's going to take some supplications. If you are truly addicted, and I don't want people that have never tried it, I don't want people that have never been in that situation to think that when you have an addiction, and yes, it's a demon control. It's a lot of things that are demon control that takes a lot. And I'm not saying it's impossible. What I'm saying is don't give false hopes and false dreams. If you give your life to Christ and you are a person that's addicted to crack, I don't want you to think that you are not, that you failed yourself if you fall, because that's an addiction that you have to really, really pray for. And once you do overcome it, you still got to continue to walk those steps and not put yourself in the same environment. You have to be careful so you won't fall backwards or backslide. Just like a fornicator, just like an adulterer, just like any other sins that we have to put ourselves in a position to where we won't fall back into the same thing we just got from, just like the prodigal son. You gotta get out that pig's vomit. If you in that pig's vomit and God clean you up, what are you gonna go back to it for? And if you do, you got 5 or 6 more demons to fight. So we have to understand what we're doing them.
Hey, we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Okay. We had to go back to that caller because we got a lot of noise going on in the background and not talking right now. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, there you go.
Yeah, I don't have too much on my heart, man, because that was me. You know what I mean? Like listen. I still smoke. I drink occasionally. But that addiction, man, that's it's a real heavy thing, man. Like that was me. I used to put $500 worth of heroin in my nose a day without a problem. That's probably why my nose so big on this screen. I done burnt up tissue in my nose. Man, it's 5 of us. It's 5 of us. We was all born within the same, let's say, 45 days. And we all grew up together as friends and became cousins later. All of us except for one started getting high at the same time. Man, we used to get so high, Raheem. I had a friend that could take a piece of tissue and stick it up one nostril and keep pushing it, and it would come out the other nostril. He would clean his mouth like that. I thank God every single day of my life, probably 10 to 20 times a day, that I don't have the taste for the heroin. Like I used to have a thing that I used to like to taste the medicine going down my throat. You sneak, you know what I mean? And then you get, whatever is in your nose comes down your throat. I don't know the anatomy of it, but I used to like to get that feeling. that taste. And I don't have that no more, you know. And I understand, you know, there's sayings that say, like, you know, in the world of addiction, there's a saying that says, if you keep going to the barbershop, you're gonna get a haircut.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you know, when I go to the hood and I visit or whatever, you know, and some of my homeboys will be standing around, they'd be like, boy, look, boy, you stay out here too long, boy, you back, and you know, you come into the barbershop, you can get a haircut. I just look at them and say, I don't wear mohawks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
No, that ain't a haircut I want. But God, every day that I don't have that in me, and like I said a long time ago on your show, man, I credit me walking away to one person, man, one person on earth, Antonio Jackson, because that's my right hand man. That's my cousin, my best friend, and I never forget it, man. I was still in the military, man. I come home and I got down, and he came over to get me. And when he seen me, man, he told me, he said, Kurt, he said, yo, you keep on messing with that. He said, yo, I'm gonna smack the, I'm gonna smack. And it dawned on me right then, like, hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we best friends, we cousins. But if you hit me, we gonna break some stuff up in here. You know, and I'm gonna have to hurt you. And wow, this is all because I'm doing something that we used to do together. But it dawned on me that I know that he would never put his hands on me. And if whatever I'm doing is so bad that it'll make him have to put his hands on me, then I'm completely out of touch, man. So
exactly.
Man.
That's reality. That's reality. That's reality.
Yeah, I feel for them people, man. Like I genuinely feel for them. And then I think, as according to scripture, canons, and text, you know, it says that when Jesus came into the city, you know what I mean? He didn't sit with the Sadducees and Pharisees and the preachers and all that. Nah, he went and sat amongst the sinners. He went and sat amongst the prophets and the tax collectors, and you know, like, hey man, these people have been allowed to ignore the fact that addiction is a sickness for probably the last 30, 40 years and just throwing band-aids on real cuts, bro. These people got real issues out here, man.
Absolutely. Andrea, what's on your heart right now? Unmute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Go ahead. We got you. Go ahead. We got you. We can hear you now. Go ahead. Oh Lord, she's Anna, what's on your heart?
I've learned a lot about all of you that are here on this panel today. I dealt with addiction, you know, from the total opposite way. I've had people that I love dearly that, you know, have dealt with addiction. And it's something that I can't really understand because, like I said, for me, when the pack of cigarettes went up from $1.50 to $2, I was like, well, I bet you this is the last pack of cigarettes I'm buying. And I never bought a pack of cigarettes, a pack of Newports after that. And I used to smoke Newports. I didn't buy a pack of cigarettes after that because I'm not, So I've never understood that. And, you know, wow, Kurt, that's a testimony within itself. That's amazing that, you know, you've been able to overcome that. I mean, it gives me true admiration for who this panel is in a positive light, because guess what? The one and only person that could do it was our Father God, and to him and only him the glory. And if it wasn't for him, maybe none of us would be here in different ways, but of course the same way, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Let me go back to Andrea. Andrea, a lot of times I can mute your phone on this end. So if you can't unmute it, I will do it on this end right here. So okay. But and what's on your heart?
Okay, so next time, can I get a tutorial before I come on so I can make sure that I'm hitting the right button, please? This is new to me.
Look,
but I see God working.
We're gonna sign it to Anna. We're gonna sign it to Anna.
I'll help you out, girl.
Okay, okay. So can I just be honest about me? Can I just be
Yes,
You
honest
got
about
it.
me?
absolutely.
Okay, so for the past couple of years, I too have been addicted to cigarettes. And I have been judged because of my addiction to cigarettes. And they say, well, you can't be saved because you have this addiction to cigarettes. So what I did was I said, well, I tell you what, I'm just gonna quit and I ain't gonna worry about it. But it's so easier said than done. When you riding in the car and you a cigarette smoker, you got to have something in this hand. It's like it's something about these two fingers that you have to have something in your hand. But my addiction is no worse than anyone else's. And that's what we have to be careful about. Just because you're not addicted to any drug, your addiction is not no better or no less than anyone else's. And then this right here is something else I want to point out too. You know, there is a special benefit to be able to stand in the gap for someone else. But when you say that you don't have it or you can't do it, then maybe you should be seeking for it. Because there should never come a point to where the Lord sends me or his spirit sends me to the crack house and I can't go. That's a problem. If he sends you, because he told all of us to go throughout the whole lands and nations preaching the gospel. So you can't have a place where you can't go. Because if you have a limitation to where you can't go, then you're not as useful to him as you're supposed to be. Wherever he sends you, you got to be able to go.
But see, Andrew, that's the key right there. What you're saying is absolutely the key. If he sends you, if he sends you, there's no place at all you cannot go. If he send you, we're talking about a person that's just, because of the fact that the sister, aunt, husband, wife, daughter, or whatever is in that crack house. They take upon themselves and they say, well, I'm going to get them. They take upon themselves, I'm going to get them, and they were not sent there. That's where the issue could come in. That's where the problems can begin. Leonard, what's on your heart? And stop all that typing you're doing over there. I see you, brother. What's on your heart, Leonard?
I'm really just listening because that's why I used to tell people God really protects me, man. Because I was just wild, And when my mother was so, as a matter of fact, as well about certain things, and that's why I always, do you want to be healed? I mean, people will say, well, this happened. Man, I don't care what you're talking about. If you want to get better, go the other way. So that approach is that's probably the most extreme, difficult approach. But the nation ain't no halfway in between. You either stop or you don't. It's do you want to do it? AA has been around. I can remember at least 30 years or so, over 30 years. And there were people who you never knew. I never knew my father was an alcoholic, really. I knew he couldn't control his liquor. I know he wouldn't have never went to a meeting had it not been court ordered. But I'm not sure about y'all families, but man, my families drink, they hang out, they party, man. They don't want your sympathy, anything. That's just what they do. That's who they are. And if you can't accept them, hey, they go the other way. But it was never a fact where I see now. It's very different now. Because people reach out to them. It's recognized as a sickness and things like that. So people really help people. But I know folks that were out there in the streets one day just completely messed up. And then they came to themselves. And that started recovery.
Exactly.
You never would have known, God rest his soul, my godfather. That's why I used to love him so much. I mean, my father-in-law. Because he'd sit in church. This man was so crisp, tight, clean. Tell you in a heartbeat, my liver messed up because I'm a drug addict. I mean, had a great job, took care of his family's bills. This man used to, If you met him when I met him, you never would have known.
Yeah.
Unless he told you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never to me to, I don't pity people, on the drug thing, because, I've been all on both sides of it, know it, but that there are certain people who are weak-minded. And I put that comment in the chat so people understood it better. Who doesn't want to feel good? Kurt explained it best, I think, when he talked about that release of endorphins and things like that. If you've never been in pain, you don't know what it's like.
Exactly. Let me go to the phone now. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Cassandra.
Good morning, Cassandra.
Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing? Cassandra, we're talking
Good
about.
morning, Miss Cassandra.
We're talking about what
Good
won't
morning,
what
sweetie.
won't a crackhead or drug addicted person, what won't they sell? What won't they sell, Cassandra?
My husband was addicted to cocaine and crack, and he didn't sell anything. I mean, but he was a businessman. He pretty much had the money to feed his addiction. That was a part of the problem. But I know women that have sold their children. My son used to deal drugs, and he called me one morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and told me that he just, popped this woman in the face because she brought her, I think the child was like 11 or 12 years old, daughter, over to their crack house, to where they sold crack, and told her they could have the daughter with some of the drugs. And he had beaten her, and he was like, how can she do that? I said, how can you sell it to her? I said, you part of the problem. I said, I'm glad that you thought like that, but you're part of the problem. You're selling it to her. And with her being an addict, she's trying to get her next hit. She don't give a damn about her daughter or anybody else. She's trying to get that feeling again. So, they sell their children. They sell, I know addicts, work with addicts for years and still do. And it's almost according to who they are and where they are. Their availability for what they want, whatever. So, I mean, to me, there are no boundaries.
Exactly.
I've heard it all.
Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Anna, coming to you next.
When I was out there in the street, right, and was getting money, what little bit of money I was getting, because I ain't gonna say that I ain't gonna make this out like I was a kingpin. Could have been if that's what I had wanted to do. That was one thing that was in the street that we did not do. We ain't selling no drugs to no pregnant females. If Miss Blackwell hit the block while we getting what we getting, that go on pause. Help her get her grocery in the house, get her in the house, then we gonna go back to doing what we doing. The one thing that I can always say is that I've noticed, especially around addicted personalities, is that addicted personalities are very, very, most of them are very, very polite. They're very, very, they're in touch a lot of times with more of their spiritual being than a lot of us that call ourselves sitting in the pew Wednesday, Saturday morning, and Sunday evening. The reason being is because when you sit down and you do a psychosocial, you'll find that this addictive personality has just been a transference. It has been transferring from one person to the next, from that person to the next. Me and Leonard are so uniquely close because L Dog, my family would say, "Wait, man."
To this day,
right? I had an uncle, man. I ain't gonna say his name because he clean now, man. And I'm so every time I see him, I want to jump and touch the sun. This mother would get drunk, so drunk that he would pass out at the bar
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was about 245, 255 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would pass out at the bar, and then the neighbors would tell us, such and such is at the bar. He laying on the ground. He passed out.
That's the family.
Go down there, get him, carry him home. And do you know what he'd tell us when we get him home? Thanks, y'all, because I ain't feel like walking.
Exactly.
Oh, this joke. Oh, I won't be carrying him no more. Oh, no. But I didn't understand then that, like, yo, he, you know what I'm saying? My family been drinking since Georgia, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a transference. So, you know, and then on top of that, that is the true population that understands what it means to go without.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta, you know, not to elevate. No, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Yes, to elevate them, because a large part in their existence is a lack of elevation. Everything about what has been going on, it's like they hear, and everything about their life just do this. Then they hit the bottom, and once they hit the bottom, now you still gotta, just to get back to where you was at. It's constant. So I really don't appreciate it when people speak down or talk bad about it. Because sometimes people do it and don't even know that you're an addict.
Exactly.
Well, they don't even know that. Man, hold on now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really know? Do you really know what it is they go through? Man? Do we really know, man? Look, let me do this. You know, I just got finished playing an addict, right? Who was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. That's what killed him. Drugs. It was HIV/AIDS. And Raheem, one of the people that he's responsible, the guy had like almost 35 years clean. The main person responsible for him being clean was the guy that I just played in this show, Avon. They called him Flubber, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Dog, do you know somebody walked up to me and say, "Hey man, hey bro, I hear you finna play Flubber." I say, "Well, yeah, man, you know, I'm gonna try." He looked at me, he said, "Hey man, you can't mess this one up, man." You can't. Why? He said, "Listen," he said, "Man, I fell off the wagon." He said, "I got so bad." He said, "I defecated all over myself." He said, "Would nobody touch me?" He said, "Flubber came up, pushed everybody out the way. You know what I mean? Cats that I owed money to that wanted to get at me. Flubber killed that right there, picked me up, put me in his arms, took me to his house, set me in a bathtub, washed me up, changed my clothes, and then took me to a meeting." That's a whole lot of man. You know what I mean? So, you know, some people just, that's a population that's mistreated, man. For real, it's a population that's mistreated. Black, white, and candy stripe. It's a population that, I mean, I done seen white addicts helping black addicts helping white addicts. I done seen them laughing and loving and listen, man. Just if y'all get a chance, man, and you can go and see the interaction, man, it'll raise your spirit, especially when you playing a part in it. It'll raise your spirit.
And that's why I like to say, Raheem, that's why I always tell people I'm glad where I'm from, because man, we don't look down on people like that.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, it's, man, my family is, I would have to disassociate myself with my family if that was the case. And not just addiction, but mental illness. You know, whereas one, you learn how to cope in that situation. You know, we didn't run to other people to get help and things like that. And it was just that those people who did those things, we understood their situation, we knew how to treat them, but we did not look down on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I'm just as cool sitting in a boardroom as I am sitting next to homeless people in the park.
It's good. That's
you know,
good.
it's I always ask people like Christ was, do you want to be healed? Because I believe it's that easy. That's why I have people, they don't want to change. It's not about that for them changing. It's about them trying to find just a little bit of something that don't hurt.
Exactly.
You know, I just want to feel good for a minute or two. You know, so when you sit and you talk to people and you like when I was telling folks, it comes from a place, you get addicted when you're trying to fill missing a gap. You get addicted when you're replacing the drug with a desire to feel better. Because it's not, people put it on the drug itself. Yes, they are very, very dangerous. But there are certain people that love that element. There are certain people who get to the point, you know, kind of, man, I wish I could stop. Stop wishing and do it. I bet you if I locked you up, you'd stop. I bet you would.
Well,
like I said, those
drugs in jail.
If people want,
they got drugs in jail. Yeah.
But here's the thing: have you listened to people who said, "If I had not gone to jail, I probably would have overdosed and died"?
Oh yeah.
Because they couldn't get the drugs when they were in jail. That's how they got clean. Because they had to be locked up to keep them from getting the drug. Because if they're out, they're going to go get it. So you have to rehabilitate them to the point that you should be able to maintain this without being locked up.
Yeah, it's more accessible when you're on the street than when you're locked up. But at the same time, you know, I have to say, and Christian, I'm coming to you. I have to say that they are in the drugs in prisons and jails and all this stuff as well.
Right. If you want them, you can get them.
Yeah, just not as plentiful. Let's go to Christy. Christy, what's on your heart?
Oh my goodness! I almost. Huh?
No, I was just saying I'm going to the phone. I got a couple of callers after you. I'm gonna go to the phone lines. So callers, hold on. I'm coming to you next.
I just have to say, you know, Kurt just touched my heart on so many levels with what he was saying. Because you have to, you know, it's few and far between you find people like that are willing to clean you up when you have defecated on yourself, and that's even in a nursing home. I used to be a CNA, so I've seen some things. And, you know, it takes a special person to deal with people with mental illness, you know, deal with addiction. You know, you have to really be special to understand the mind frame. I can remember, like I say, I work in the ER in Houston, and my favorite was my psych patients. And whether they were psych because they was on drugs or whether they were psych because they really have mental issues, I love my psych patients, and they would all come get me when there was a psych patient, because you have to be paid. You have to go into their world. Whatever world they in, that's the world you go in. You can't sit there and try to make them into your world. It was a doctor, it was a lady. She said she was pregnant. She had a plastic baby doll, and she said that was her baby, and she was pregnant. Now, it was a little bitty doctor. He wasn't no taller than me. I'm like 5'2". I think he was like way shorter than me. And so he went in there and told her that she wasn't pregnant. She had a hysterectomy so many years ago. She beat that man up, cussed him out, talking about, I am pregnant. I'm pregnant for Jesse Jackson. I was like, all right then. So I was like, he came running out of there because she threw him out. And so I said, well, ma'am, can I babysit your baby for you? Because I know you want the doctor to examine you because you're pregnant. What's going on? She said, my stomach hurts. And so I said, okay. I said, well, I hear you pregnant for Jesse Jackson, so I want you to sit down and relax. The doctor looked at me like I was insane, but I got her to do what she needed to be done, and he was able to examine her without her being in a violent rage. And sometimes people that's on drugs are not there mentally, and if you're going to help and pray for them and be with them, you cannot bring them in your world because your world don't make sense to them. You have to be in whatever world they in. That's why you say that you have to be sent, because, you know, people that on drugs don't need you to tell them they on drugs. They know they on drugs. They don't need you to tell them that they don't have something. They know what they don't have. You can't go in there with a superior attitude thinking you're gonna help somebody. Because when I was in my world, and like I was saying, I was functional. I was going to work, doing everything. Nobody in the world knew because I kept it secret. But in it, you couldn't come and tell me about me because I'm gonna tell you about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up. I pay my own bills. I got my own car. My kids taken care of. So I'm doing better than you doing. You sitting out here struggling. How you finna tell me about me? So you couldn't come at me in a mis way. You have to come at me very correctly. And that's the same way with people that's on alcohol, that's drink alcohol. My people, my family. I'm like, Leonard, my family, they drink. They some drinkers. They would drink you under the sea and come back again and find Little Mermaid and drink some more. You know, and once they get full, you either gonna go home because you don't want to witness what's gonna happen, or you gonna sit there and watch the entertainment. You got two choices. Now you sit there and take the alcohol bottle out their head if you want to.
It's gonna be something.
You gonna get shot by Little Smokey. Or something else. You better leave them people alone.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna say this last thing, and I'm gonna let you go to the phone. My mother struggled with the addiction of cigarettes for all her life, and she got to the point she wanted to stop. And she said, "Christy, I don't want to take no medicine to stop. I don't want to take no patches." She said she just quit cold turkey, and it was very hard for her. This is to encourage anybody that want to stop smoking. It was really hard for her. She had to do all kinds, and trust me, I didn't want to be around her 2 seconds when she wasn't smoking. But I stayed there. And she now has been 3 years clean without no cigarettes, and she quit smoking cold turkey. Because that was something she wanted to do. And like Mr. Leonard say, if you want to stop, you're going to stop. This old lady used to tell me I was in an abusive relationship. I say, I'm so sick and tired of him hitting on me. She said, no, you're not. I say, yes, I am. No, you're not. I say, how you going to tell me I am tired? I get tired of him hitting on me and stuff. And I'm bright skinned and I got bruises and stuff. She said, baby, let me tell you something. When a coyote want to get free, it's going to chew off his own leg to get free. Baby, when you tired, it ain't gonna take nobody telling you can leave or give you permission to leave. You gonna crawl out there with an inch of your life because you gonna be ready to go. And I'm gonna say that to those that are addicted, those that have any addiction. When you tired of being tired, you gonna stop. When you ready to stop, you gonna stop.
Let me go to the phone line. I got a couple of callers on the phone line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. This is Bishop.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this week?
Man, I am
hey,
blessed.
Bishop.
What we're talking about is what won't an addicted person sell? What won't an addicted person sell? That's what we're talking about today. What's on your heart?
That's a good question. What an addicted person sell? Not sell. They sell anything. They sell their souls. So they sell their souls to the drug or alcohol which they're being consumed with. But I like what Chris was saying. I listened to Leonard, and both of them have some very, very, very key points in their statement. And I speak for me and my addictions in time past. And like Chris's mom, I smoked for 12 years. And one day a voice came to me and said, if God intended for you to smoke, he would have put a chimney in your head. And that very moment, I stopped smoking. And like her mom, I went cold turkey because if there's a will, there's a way. You're the one that allow yourself to be put into a situation. Now you have to encourage your own self to get out of it. And that's what people don't understand. When I got to go to this treatment, you don't have control of your own spirit. You can't rationalize. You can't rationalize within your own self. I don't need to be doing this, so I'm not going to do this anymore. But yet you'll go steal from somebody. You'll steal from your mama. You'll steal from your brother. You'll borrow and not pay back. And they tell me when you go through these programs that one of the things you have to do, you have to apologize to the people that you hurt. And then if you stole anything, you have to return it back to them monetarily wise, because you more than likely you can't find the item. So this is what they teach them in the program. I never went to the program. I went straight to the Lord and asked God, give me strength to stand against the trials I'm going through. And God, He allowed me to come through like gold. I hope I was able to give you a part of the answer of the question that you asked. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Mr. Flipper, you there? Okay, 706 area code. 706 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, Cassandra, what's on your heart right now? Cassandra, you there? Can they hear me? Can they hear me? Can they hear me? Cassandra?
Raheem.
Yes. Oh, so
use your words, man.
So you can't hear me. Okay, good deal. Frank, what's on your heart, brother?
No, this is Bishop Raheem, but your word is wake up and go to sleep.
Exactly. Frank, you there?
I'm gonna come off the penalty bench. I've been on there for a minute, but let me say this. Some of us said that we don't know what it's like to deal with addiction. I want any of us to feel that way, to do something, because the thing about people is that we all have a proclivity to be drawn to different things. The things that you struggle with, I may not struggle with. I may be strong in that area, but you better believe I'm weak somewhere. So I want to challenge everybody to do this for the rest of the month. That thing that only you know that you struggle with, be it lying, backstabbing, dealing with your anger, eating sweets, obesity is big. You know, whatever that thing is that you struggle with. If it's drugs, okay, drugs. But all of us struggle with something. All of us none of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that thing is, give that up for a month. And I mean, really give it up. Don't do it. And then when you fail, because you will fail, multiply that by 1 billion. Because what you're failing with is self. You're dealing with things that have nothing to do with chemicals that were put together to destroy you. You're just dealing with things that you could actually fairly easily change if you really wanted to do something about. And you multiply that by 1 billion, and then you will begin to understand what people that have messed around and done drugs are dealing with. And this is the last thing I want to say is this. I don't want anybody that's listening to this broadcast that may not call in think that you can do drugs and be okay. Please don't play Russian roulette.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't risk losing your family. Don't risk losing your home and your job. Don't risk losing your life. Because a lot of people will do drugs for the first time, and there's so many drugs that are laced with so many things. It may kill you right there.
On the spot. Mm-hmm.
On the doggone spot.
Mm-hmm.
So like the young lady said at the beginning, the best thing, even if you're thinking about it, please get some help.
Yep.
If it's not us, get somebody. But don't take the chance. Don't ever play with these things, because drugs are serious. And all they're doing, like Raheem has been screaming from the beginning of this show, it's a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit is here to destroy not only you, but your family.
Yep.
So don't play with it.
Exactly. Andrea, what's on your heart right now? Let me unmute you. Hold on. There you go. What's on your heart?
Thank you so much. I just want to say too, in order for us to overcome any obstacle in our life, we need to go out and just try to get that one, just to inspire that one. That's one thing I chose to look at. I have a lot of flaws. God knows I do. And I promise you, I always try to show love. I always try to have a smile. And I always try to be encouragement to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Because with my flaws, I cannot afford to knock anybody else off the track.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to get in. I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to get in. And he said it takes that one.
If I can just get one soul, he gonna cover some sins for me. Just one soul. So with my flaws, with my thinking self, bad attitude sometimes I hate, sometimes I'm so angry, I just have to smile. I just need that one soul, just that one. Because I want to get in. And that's the only thing I want to say. Ooh, I just want to cry. I don't want to say nothing else.
Okay, look at here, Kurt. Hold on, let me go to Leonard. Leonard, did you hear what she just said, Leonard? She said, "Lord knows I do." And then when somebody say, "Lord knows I do," they serious, brother. Lord,
very serious.
She said, "Lord knows I do."
You go to the color purple. To the color purple.
Hey, I love what she said because it's so serious. That's serious, man. Like the Lord knows.
Yeah.
When trust me, when you get that point, you start saying that. That's real faith, man. That you really trying. You know what I'm saying? If you can get that far, if you can just get that far, you win it. You know what I'm saying? So it's never like people say, "Well, we don't promote drugs, we don't do this, we don't do that." I don't promote anything that takes away from who you are. It's not like everybody ain't gonna be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Drugs are not for people who can't control themselves, really. And so recreation, I was in AA, right? I was in AA because I used to love to fight in a bar. And when you fight in a bar and you in the military, you automatically have to go to AA because it's an alcohol-related incident.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in AA with people trying to convince me I'm an alcoholic. And they do what they do and they keep saying, but what they realize is they plan not working because I'm not addicted. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen like when people, it's not always being addicted or what have you. Sometimes it's a bad decision. But what I do for people is always let them know, man, get some help.
Yep. Exactly.
If you can't come in here with the same, you can't handle this, bro. You trying to run with us doing what we doing, but you failing.
Yeah.
I can't let you fail like that and be running with me. So I got to push you away from that because you can't help yourself. And like, it wasn't even to be funny, but I used to get rude at AA meetings. And it was hilarious to me that they kept insisting, and then they check your background. You tell them about your history and what do I have to do to prove to you that I'm not addicted? You don't want me to drink for 30 days? I can do that in my sleep. You put me here and you place this label on me because of something else. And so we shouldn't be placing labels on people so easy. Behavior modification is the key.
Let me do this. Let me go to Anna. Anna, what's on your heart? Talk to us, Anna.
A few things. When you guys are talking about families that drink, man, Puerto Ricans, I don't know what that is. It's in the DNA. It is in the DNA. Like there isn't a party without alcohol. So, sometimes it's real hard for me because I'm one of these, okay, by 9 o'clock, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot, and they a lot of times they don't even fight. They just want to keep going till the next day. And it's like, man, I want to go to bed.
Party, man.
Yeah, they're like, we just everybody got 2 or 3 cases, that's going to be a party, okay? But with that being said, all joking aside, and I want to say 2 things, because I did get a message. When a lot of times when you guys see us laughing, we're not laughing at anybody on air, and I want to make this perfectly clear. We are having a personal chat, and more than likely talking about how I'm 29 years old, and they're laughing at me, okay? So I want everybody to know that most of the time that's what the conversation, it's not laughing at anybody or anybody's situation. So I want to make that perfectly clear. The next thing is, again, and I'll repeat the same thing that I've been saying. This is spiritual. I don't care if you're dealing with food addiction. I don't care what type of addiction you're dealing with. It is spiritual. Some people it's over lust. Some people it's over constant adultery. Some people it's over whatever it is that you deal with. Okay. We all fall short. Okay. We all fail. We all make mistakes. Okay. So nothing makes and I've said it before on air, nothing makes a drug addict better than a person who does homosexuality or whatever the case may be. Nothing makes one better. You're fighting demons. And let's keep in mind that what we can do for others, especially if you feel that, okay, I'm not dealing with any of this right now, because our life fluctuates, right? Day by day, because we have others that constantly pray for us. So with that being said, if you're going through a good stage or a good season at that point in your life, pray for these people and continue praying for these people so that these chains are broken. You see it. God gives us discernment to see what's going on. God gives us that discernment. So let's just continue helping these people out, and let's not talk about them or whatever else. It's a spiritual realm we're dealing with. And it took me at least 10 years, huh?
Anna, wrap it up, sister.
Okay. It took me at least 10 years to realize this, and I have. And you know what I do? I pray. So that's just all I'm saying. Pray, help other people out, no matter what they're dealing with. That's it.
A good deal. Cassandra, are you still with us? Cassandra, wake up and go to sleep. Kurt, talk to us, brother.
Well, I think everything's been said. You know, Anna, right though. Puerto Rica's party.
Lord knows she's right.
Puerto Rica's party over anything, man.
Wake up out they sleep, go right back to party.
Exactly.
I swear for God, the baby could find his own bottle that was sitting right in his lap. That's gonna turn into a party. Man, listen, they party so much, man. You know, when I first walked into the culture, man, I walked into the culture, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm on my Luther Vandross. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, oh no. This
come back, Curtis. Come back, Curtis.
We gonna stop? Can I get stressed? But no, man, you know what? Here's what I would try my best to impart in everybody. Is that although you might not know what a psychosocial is, a psychosocial basically tells you the history of any given person, not only their history, but it gives you a very good snapshot if they're honest and taking that psychosocial. It gives you a very good snapshot into the history of their family. And if we can just deal with people on that level of, you know what, we see the problem, but what was the problem before the problem? Maybe it will cause for us to get rid of this cancel culture environment that we have, which is killing our American experiment and society. Every second of every day, every month, throughout every year, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And what is happening is because we're not trying to put in the time to do the psychosocials, because we're not trying to put in the time to be empathetic and or sympathetic. Happening is we are leaving behind a whole entire subset of the American culture, which in turn will eventually come back and bite us in the hind parts. Now I will close with Raheem. We're worried about crack. We're worried about crystal meth. We worried about opioids. Well, we worried about heroin because that's what an opioid is. We worried about all these other things. We worried about alcohol. But the one thing we need to be worried about is Flocka. Because I'm going to tell you now, that Flocka, a dope fiend, a cocaine addict, a crystal meth addict, they may get high and do something out of the norm that is funny or far-fetched. Flocka is taking people to a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
So
what's Flocka?
Flock, oh my God.
It's the synthetic, the new synthetic, right? It's
synthetic
been around for a minute.
Yeah. Synthetic
They're
drug.
what they call salt baths, I believe.
No, it's something like it. But
yeah,
y'all, I watched the video. This real talk. Right here, and I don't want to take up too much time. Love you too. All right. I watched the video. I watched the video. Dude was in the parking garage. Flocka. This dude takes off full speed, runs into the back of a 2007 a Dodge Durango, goes straight through the window, out the back of the truck, and the dude sat beside the Durango was trying to back out. He saw him, bro, right here. When he hit that gas, bro, he hit that gas so hard. I said, oh, he gonna hit one of them pillars. No, he was on his joint. When he pull out right here and go to pull out, the dude jumped on the back of his car, man. How he lived, making it through the back window of a 2007 Dodge Durango. I had one. How he made it through the back of that window just off of feet says that whatever this drug is and whatever is in it, if I was to be professional, I would say it has to have some form of steroid somewhere laced in it, because that don't happen, bro.
Exactly. Let me do this. I'm gonna go to let me go to Bishop. Bishop, you still with us? Bishop, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask the question, and I'm gonna go to Frank right after you, because I want to hear both of y'all perspective. Then we're gonna get out of here. It's already almost 10 after 9. But I might touch a few more people with this, because I want to hear their heart on it. We're talking about the addiction. We're talking about the addiction to crack, alcohol, and a list of things, meth, and a list of things. But I want to hear your heart on this. How addictive is hate? How addictive is hate?
I ain't nobody ever asked the question how addictive is hate. It's based on an association. I talked to a white guy yesterday. It's crazy you asked that question. And he was telling me, he said, he never had nothing against anybody black. Never had anything. They played together, they grew up together, until an affiliate or associate of his began to talk about the black person. And then he began to see what was not really there as it relates to the relationship they had. And then he began to dislike this person. So I'm like, when you let somebody come in and control your mind, just like these drugs do, and get you in a position of hating somebody that you never had a problem with. And so the proverb that says, evil communication that corrupts good manner, out of Paul's writing in Corinthians. And I say a proverb, that's a statement. It really is what changes the dynamics of the individual's love to human beings, regardless to the color of their skin. And it becomes addicted because of your want of the association of what you're dealing with. So if I'm associating, I want to associate with this white person, or I want to associate with this black person that has this disdain towards a person of another race, then it becomes addicted to me, and I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Yet you've never done that before.
Exactly.
Or to them.
That's good. Frank, what's on your heart? How addictive is hate?
You know, I brought this up once before when we were talking, and I brought up the movie The Count of Monte Cristo, where the Count hated these people so badly that he had planned forever to kill them. Revenge. He had planned to get revenge. And he called his cousin in, and he said, we're going to kill all these people. We're going to get them back for what they did to me. And his cousin came in to help him. And then his cousin began to interact with the people. And he went back to the Count. And he said, why do you hate these people so much? They're not that bad. And I'll never forget the statement that the Count made. He said, please don't take my hate away from me. That's all I got. That's all I got. that was keeping him alive. His hatred was the thing that fueled him. And it's so many people that have been hating for so long that it's consumed them, and they don't understand life without it. Because without that hate, then they have to be understanding. They have to be tolerant of some things. They have to be patient. They literally have to walk out the fruit of the Spirit. And it's easier for them just to hate you because now I don't have to deal with you.
Wow. Krista, what do you say to that? How addictive, and we're going to get out of here in just a second, y'all. How addictive is hate?
I think hate is very addictive because hate is taught. So hate is taught from one person to another, just like Bishop was saying. And that's not only in color and hate, but that's like with friends. You go to a kid, they be friends. These little kids friends with each other. Then somebody come in, don't like that friend, and then everybody gang up on that one friend, and not nobody like them. I mean, that's just that's just the way life is. But for us hate, it's really addictive. Look at what we're going through now. Look at the times that we're in. It took one, and you can look, like I say, leadership, attitude reflects leadership. And to me, 45 and leadership have brought so much hate, pain, and separation. If you look at all the presidents before, they were all for unity. They were all for productivity. They were all for making everyone equal. And so the United States reflected that during those times. But now you have 45 in office who have different views and doing different things, and it's reflecting because now white supremacists feel like they have the right to come out of the Grinches and say what's on their true heart. So I feel like it's very much taught. It's very much tolerated in this time to hate one race for one thing, and it's on both sides. I feel like, Black people are now starting to resent and dislike some white people. But I feel like, really and honestly, though, I feel as though that we still can come together and we still can make a change. We just have to choose to, just like the addiction. It's just like Mr. Linden says, if you want it, stop saying you want it and do it.
Good deal.
Stop, just do it. If you want to live in peace, live in peace. If you want to love Black people, love Black people. If you want to love white people, love white people. Love all people. But Black lives matter.
Preacher. All right, preacher. Leonard, you got a minute and a half. Answer that question. A minute and a half.
I still, that has been my whole thing about the addiction or whatever. It always has been. And, being raised around people with lots of different problems, I really understand, because it's even anything that people do, and you're trying to teach people about the alternatives, and this is what people are choosing. And you try to get them to understand that, okay, I know you're addicted to this, but is there anything else you like? What I'm addicted, the preachers used to preach that sermon, and they used to always say God. And, get addicted to God instead of LSD and THC and all these other different things. But man, it does not, even Christians. I'll put it in a Christian point of view. When you are really filled with the Holy Ghost, man, when it goes away, you be like, man, I want that feeling. When you feeling sad and you pray, that's what it's about. Because you're going to get the prayer. You praying, and before you know it, you're ministered to by the Holy Spirit. You feel just great, and you say to yourself, "Man, I wish I could stay here." I mean, you wish you, but you got to tone, you got to balance it. You know what I'm saying? But and I think that's how I feel about people who get addicted. There's something in them. There's some huge gap that they need this drug to fill that space.
Good deal.
And as long as that drug does that, they keep doing it. And you have to teach alternative ways to get that feeling, to be to be okay about not having that. Like these little drinks right here. My wife says I'm addicted, right?
You are.
But what I do know is when I don't have it around, I'm like, what could make this better? My drink. Before this would have been a Jack Daniels on the rocks with a twist of lime all day long, 24/7 a day from the time I get up in the morning. But I drink this little bit now. If I can't drink this little bit or what have you, you know, come on, man. We all feeling good about something. So think of it as that for these people.
Good deal.
That may be all they feel good about. So you have to give them some alternatives.
Now, Leonard, we said 1.5 million, man. You don't win. You don't win 15
that was
minutes.
About a minute or two, or what have you.
Listen, Christy, what's going on at 3:00 today?
At 3:00 a day, you can go to listen to the show in its entirety.
Come on now.
Let me entirety.
There we
go.
Lord Jesus. Go ahead. You got it. You got it. At
www.dkmradio.com.
No, we send them
and make sure you listen to it and share it. And if anybody have an addiction, please call 678-381-1973. We'll be here to get you some help. We ain't gonna pay for it though, but we'll get you some help.
Christy, you finished? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, DKMmediagroup.com. DKMmediagroup.com. Yeah, we switched it up. So you didn't know. DKMmediagroup.com. Make sure you go there. Now, let me see who I'm. Leonard.
Yeah.
Pray us out, brother.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for this opportunity to share with like-minded people who are believers in Christ. Give us what we need this day to share this experience with others, that they may be drawn, that they may be tempted, that they may be persuaded to try this Christ that we believe in. These and other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 It is now 9:29 to y'all. I kept me here to 9:20. Y'all, I'll be shame of y'all. Leonard, any results on the election? Any results?
Well, I can say that the folks that have come on the show, they are in runoffs. They're doing very well. Mr. Clemens, his was very tight. His is very tight. Miss Patsy is doing pretty good. We got a lot of wins going on, but the most important thing is people have to remember this is just the primary.
Yeah.
If y'all show up and vote like you're doing now, a lot of things people going to win. But go back to the polls and vote. Even if the candidate you like did not win that primary,
still go
vote on that ticket.
And write me.
You know, I'm not shy about it. People hint away from it. Far I know, we're not a 501c3, right?
No.
Okay. Y'all better vote for them Democrats. Plain and simple. Go back to the polls and vote. The Republican strategy is to make gains at the general election.
The fellow from yesterday would differ from that, Leonard. The fellow from yesterday, don't say nothing.
I don't remember.
The fellow from yesterday, the one that called in yesterday at the end of the broadcast.
Man, I had forgot about that, huh?
Yeah, okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Listen, it is now 9:21. You're about to exit the Morning Globe, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, right? This is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. Y'all have a great day, and do me a favor. Love somebody. Take care.